Hello children, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn past perfect tense. As we all know, the perfect tenses show that an action has already been completed. The word perfect means completed. Let me make the difference between the present perfect and past perfect. So, already I had taught you the present perfect tense. As we all know that the present perfect tense tells us that an action is complete with respect to the present. For example, I have seen this film twice this week. So for just finished action, we use present perfect tense. I have seen this film twice this week and the week isn't over yet. In this video, we are going to learn past perfect tense. So the past perfect tense tells us that an action took place before another action in the past. So for example, Meena had left before I reached the office. Here, there are two actions. If two actions occurred in the past, with one action taking place earlier than the other, the past perfect is used for the earlier action and the simple past for the later action. So, thus we say, Meena had left is an earlier action and I reached the office is the later action. So, we have given the earlier action in past perfect tense and the later action in the simple past. Meena had left. So, this is in past perfect tense and I reached the office. It is given in simple past. So, let us know in detail. Before that, let us know the past tense forms. They are simple past, past continuous. So these two we had already learnt, and today let us learn past perfect tense, and in future let us learn past perfect continuous. Yes. So I have shown the timeline here. Past, present, future. So I have shown in the timeline, and what is the form for past perfect tense means? It is had plus past participle. That is subject plus had plus past participle. Here is an example. I had never seen such a beautiful sunset before I went to the island. Here I have given two actions. If two actions occurred in the past with one action taking place earlier than the other, the past perfect is used, as already I have mentioned it. Yes, so here I had never seen such a beautiful sunset. This is an action which happened earlier, which I have given in past perfect tense. I went to the island. This is the later action, so I have given in simple past. So just see the timeline. An action completed before a given point of time. This moment or point of time may be indicator or may be understood. That is, both the actions took place in the past, and it tells us that an action took place before another action in the past. So this we have to understand. So just see, I had never seen such a beautiful sunset is one action. And what is the other action? I went to the island is the another action. So here, I had never seen such a beautiful sunset is the earlier action, and so I have given in past perfect tense, and I went to the island is the later action. So I have given in simple past. Yes, children? Next, let us know the structure of past perfect tense. So, in case of affirmative sentence, for first person singular, the format is subject plus had plus past participle form of verb. As we all know, there are three forms of verb, that is V1, V2 and V3. V1 is the base form of verb, V2 is the past form of verb and V3 is the past participle form of verb. Here, what is the base form of verb we have used means it is sing. So it is the V1, sing is the V1 form of verb, sang is the past form of verb, and what is the past participle form of verb means it is sung. So in this for sing, it is sung, that is V3, its V3 form is sung. I had already sung. I had already sung. So it is very important that you should know the past participle form of all verbs in order to represent it in past perfect tense. In order to express in past perfect tense and in present perfect tense, definitely you should know the V3 form of verb. For all main verbs, you should know all the three forms of verbs, that is V1, V2 and V3. And for present perfect and past perfect and future perfect, definitely we have to use V3 form of verbs. Affirmative. In case of affirmative singular, I had already sung. And for first person plural, we had already sung. So this is we is first person plural. So we had already sung. For second person singular, you had already sung. For second person plural, it is you had already sung. For third person singular, she or he or it had already sung. Likewise, for third person plural, they had already sung. Likewise, in case of negative sentence, hello children, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn the structure for using past perfect tense in case of affirmative, negative, interrogative and interrogative negative. The structure for affirmative is subject plus had plus past participle. In case of negative, its structure is subject plus had plus not plus past participle. In case of interrogative, its structure is had plus subject plus past participle. In case of interrogative negative, we have to use the structure as had plus not plus subject plus past participle. Let us know with examples. In case of affirmative, the example is she had given. Negative, she had not asked. Interrogative, had they arrived? Interrogative negative, hadn't you finished? Hadn't you finished? Yet another example. I had decided. You had decided. She had decided. We had decided. They had decided. For all the three persons, we have to use the structure as had plus past participle. In case of negative, I hadn't decided. You hadn't decided. She hadn't decided. We hadn't decided. They hadn't decided. In case of interrogative, had I decided? Had you decided? Had she decided? Had we decided? Had they decided? In case of interrogative negative, hadn't I decided? Hadn't you decided? So like that we are supposed to use the structure. So when to use past perfect tense? For an action that had been completed before another action began in the past. He had appealed to the manager for a week's leave before I reached. He had appealed. So this is in past perfect tense. This action took place earlier. And I reached. This is the later action and which we have given in simple past. And in order to convert from direct speech to indirect speech, that is, it is included in reported speech. The teacher asked if we had studied for the exam. So we can use past perfect tense in reported speech. The teacher asked if we had studied for the exam. Describe an action or event which has been completed before some point of time. By 11, all the students had left the school campus after the Independence Day celebration. And past perfect tense is used to describe an action in the past which became the cause of another action. So, for example, Meenu had borrowed money from the bank to buy her new car. So, in order to buy a new car, Meenu had borrowed money. So, just because she borrowed money from the bank, she could buy a new car. Meenu had borrowed money from the bank to buy her new car. To describe an action in the past using the time adverbials such as already, since, before, etc. She had met him before the party. To express an unfulfilled action in the past for type 3 conditional, we can use past perfect tense. If he had informed her, she would have waited for him. If he had informed her, this is if clause, she would have waited for him. Main clause. So, in the if clause, for unfulfilled action in the past, we have to use past perfect tense. If he had informed her, she would have waited for him. So, definitely when you use if he had informed, that is past perfect tense in the if clause, and in the main clause you are supposed to use she would have waited, that is she would have waited for him. If he had informed her, she would have waited for him. In order to express unfulfilled wish in the past, I wish I had accepted the job. Let us know the more examples. Event A, Event B. John had gone out when I arrived in the office. I had saved my document before the computer crashed. When they arrived, we had already started cooking. He was very tired because he hadn't slept well. The train had just left when I arrived at the station. If I had had another 10 minutes, here V3 form of verb is had, that is have, had, had. Base form of verb is have, had, had. So the V3 form of verb is had. So if I had had another 10 minutes, I would have finished the examination paper. So here for earlier action, we have used past perfect tense, and for later action we have used simple past. Self-evaluation, we were not able to stay overnight at the hotel since we not a room in advance. She never to the symphony before last night. Mayor knew Philadelphia so well because he does there for 5 years. He understood the math test because he does all week. I did not have any cash because I dashed my purse. I dashed to Mexico once before. If I dashed see him, I would have told him the news. Before he did his homework, he dashed after school for help. She dashed in California before moving to Texas. The cat dashed the bird before it flew out of the yard. We dashed home when my mom texted us about returning the car. She dashed several doctors before she found out what the problem was with her hand. If we dashed ahead, we would not have needed to wait so long for a table. Just pause the video and try to answer yourself. Let me give the answer. We were not able to stay overnight at the hotel since we had not reserved a room in advance. She had never been to the symphony before last night. Mayor knew Philadelphia so well because he had lived there for 5 years. He understood the math test because he had been tutored all week. I did not have any cash because I had lost my purse. I had been to Mexico once before. I had seen him. I would have told him the news. Before he did his homework, he had stayed after school for help. She had lived in California before moving to Texas. The cat had chased the bird before it flew out of the yard. We had just called home when my mom texted us about returning the car. We had just called home when my mom texted us about returning the car. She had visited several doctors before she found out what the problem was with her hand. If we had called ahead, we would not have needed to wait so long for a table. I hope you might have understood the past perfect tense. Try to use in your daily life. Thank you for watching.